Alright, happy Pride Month. I want to say that it's kind of unfortunate how Pride has been associated with only a few select categories, right? Last year around this time we were rallying about Black lives because of a tragic event, right? For the most part, Pride is about who we love, right? But it has to be another human, right? If you love yourself more than anybody else in the world, that's not Pride anymore, right? Unfortunately, there's no discussion about differences in dietary preferences, right? Whether it be religious or whether it be because of a disability or even a personal choice, right? People love to discriminate on dietary preferences. There isn't much talk about. See, I have allergies to fragrances, right? And I used to suffer alone, right? To give you an idea of how this would play out, oftentimes I would have difficulty associating with others at work. I wouldn't go to all their fun events or all that. And one time I was actually, I had a major conflict one time actually. I was using the break room at a workplace, and somebody with huge amounts of fragrances walks in. I mean, it's enough to drown the whole classroom, if you will. And so I get out of that area, and I inadvertently, I left a huge mess because I was in the middle of eating. I was thinking I was going to go back there to clean it up, but I forgot. You know, out of sight, out of mind. I went out of that room. I think I took a phone call and I forgot. I went to run an errand or whatever. And, you know, this is, had I told my coworker, you know, I'm sorry, your fragrances really bothered me. You know, some people get really sensitive to that remark. That's why I didn't tell her. I wanted to kind of suffer alone, which is kind of wrong. I should have told her. Because if she runs her mouth about that, at least that's her character, right? That's not my problem anymore, right? But I made the mistake of not telling her. And I don't know if it's her or somebody else, put all my stuff in a box, as if to shame me or something like that. And the vice president of that school was very upset. He had a talk with me, and I still didn't mention that it was because of my coworker with the fragrances. That's how embarrassed I am about it. I don't think we should live in a society where that is an embarrassing remark to make. Now, I traveled to Taiwan later that same year, actually. And, you know, I have difficulty getting food at any restaurant, right? I have to ask a lot of questions. But the people I was with at the hostel, they were okay with me joining them, even if I had to ask questions, even if I couldn't find anything to eat at the restaurants. We were still able to mingle together. And yet in America, we call it Pride when we just march around going Black Lives Matter, you know, gay marriage, and all these selective categories, right? The real issue is that everybody enjoys life in a different way, right? And I want you to get more comfortable living life your own way, even if you have to mention some differences between people. Now, I'm really proud of myself for one thing that I did mention earlier this year. So this past year, I've been battling compulsive eating problems. I wouldn't call it binge eating. I wasn't really eating a huge volume. Well, the big problem was that I would be in the middle of a meal, and if somebody tried to get in the way, that's when I would blow up on people. I lost a job over it, actually. Now, one day, my boss wanted to have a Zoom meeting with me at, I think it was about 4 p.m. So I'm getting ready, and I was in the middle of eating at 3:20 when he sends me a text, hey, can we start now? And I'm really upset because I know that's the kind of stuff that will cause me trouble. And I debated in my head for like 30 seconds, and I text him back, I apologize, I'm eating, I'll text you back soon. And I felt so good about that, even though I kind of felt ashamed of myself that I still hadn't contained my compulsive eating problems yet. I felt so good that I proudly said what I wanted to say, right? Rather than let the boss just bully me around my personal life, right, in my personal space. And to my surprise, he was very understanding of it too. I mean, in the past I used to suffer in silence about stuff like that, but to my surprise, he was very understanding of that. Anyways, let's call it DLM, Different Lives Matter. Thanks for watching.